Iran has just approved a motion to close the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical trade choke point, amid rising tensions with Israel and after recent US strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. If Iran actually moves to block the strait, the consequences could ripple through global energy markets and hit countries like India hard. Let's break down why this matters. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman. It connects the Persian Gulf with Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. It may be just 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, but it carries over 20% of the world's oil and a significant share of global natural gas trade. Major oil exporters like Iraq, Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Qatar rely heavily on this route. So do their biggest customers, especially countries in Asia and Europe. The US Energy Information Administration calls it the world's most important oil transit choke point. Any disruption here could send oil markets into a frenzy. Now, to be clear, Iran has threatened to close the strait many times before, but it has never actually done it, even during full-blown wars. This time though, things are different. Iran's nuclear facilities have been hit, its parliament has formally approved the move, and Tehran is undergoing internal and external pressure. If Iran actually shuts down the strait, even temporarily, it could trigger a global oil price shock, higher freight and insurance costs for tankers, and possibly military intervention from the US and its Gulf allies. India, the world's third largest oil importer, is especially vulnerable. More than 85% of India's crude oil is imported, and a large chunk of that comes via the Strait of Hormuz from countries like Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. India also relies heavily on Qatar for natural gas, and those shipments too pass through this choke point. So if the strait is blocked or even threatened, India faces higher crude oil prices, costlier natural shipments, widening trade deficits, pressure on the rupee, and inflationary spikes. Even though India doesn't import oil from Iran due to US sanctions, the ripple effect from a regional disruption would still hurt Indian consumers and the economy. This isn't just India's problem. China gets nearly half of its seaborne oil from the Gulf, including from Iran. A blockade would directly threaten its energy security. Western economies, already struggling with inflation and fragile supply chains, could face another oil shock, one they may not be ready for. And ironically, a closure would also hurt Iran itself, which relies on the strait to export oil, mostly to China. It could unravel Iran's diplomatic outreach to Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE. In short, everyone has something to lose. The Strait of Hormuz is small on the map but massive in its impact. If Iran follows through with this threat, the global energy market could enter dangerous territory, with oil prices shooting past $120 or even $150 a barrel. India, already dependent on imports, will feel the pinch fast and hard. As always in geopolitics, a narrow strait can become a wide open crisis.